Every human who has ever lived has faced the same question: what happens when we die? Not just us, not just people alive today. Every human being who has ever walked the earth has asked this. 8 billion people alive today, 100 billion who have lived before. The hunter, the mother, the elder sitting by the fire. Each of them lost someone, and each of them had to find a way to go on. All of them wondered. All of them came up with answers, and remarkably, their answers had a great deal in common. And what those answers were reveals something extraordinary about what it means to be human. Every culture in history has had an answer. Not one has said nothing happens. Not what we built, not what we invented, what we believed. Because the moment a species starts wondering what happens after death, something changes. It means that species is no longer just living, it is thinking about living. That species has crossed a line no other animal has ever crossed. The line between just living and wondering what living means. Most animals have no understanding of death. They react to it, they flee from it, some even grieve. Elephants return to the bones of the dead. Chimpanzees sit with their dead infants for days. These are real, profound behaviors, but they stop at grief. They do not become belief. But no animal wonders what death means. No animal asks what comes next. Only humans do that. We are the only species that knows it will die and asks what that means. And the moment we started doing it, we became something new. The evidence begins with burial. Around 100,000 years ago, humans began burying their dead. Not because they had to. Animals leave their dead where they fall. Humans chose to place their dead in the ground with intention and care. No other animal in the history of life on Earth has done this. That choice tells us something. It says this person still matters. They are going somewhere. And not just to dispose of the body, they placed things with the dead. Tools, food, ochre pigment, flowers, jewelry. Someone gathered flowers for the dead 100,000 years ago. These were not accidental. They were intentional gifts for the journey ahead. Someone grieving took the time to pack a bag for the dead. Someone believed the dead were going somewhere, and they wanted them to be prepared. That belief is one of the most human things our species has ever done. This is the oldest evidence of belief in life after death we have. But what exactly did they believe? Across every culture, every continent, every era, some form of answer. We cannot know for certain, but the evidence paints a powerful picture. Burials, ochre, cave art, grave goods, together they speak clearly. Most ancient cultures believed in some form of spirit world, separated from us, but not far, sometimes just a step away, a place where the dead continued to exist in some form. Many groups believe the dead became ancestors, powerful beings who still influenced the living, not gone, transformed, still present, still part of the community, who watched over them, guided hunts, brought rain, protected children. In some groups, the dead were spoken to, consulted, asked for help. Before doctors, before priests, before governments, you went to your ancestors. The boundary between the living and the dead was not a wall, it was a conversation. In many ancient cultures, the dead were as present as the living. Dreams were often understood as visits from the dead, not symbols, not imagination, real visits from real people who had crossed over. Sleep was a passage into their world, and waking was a return. Every night you visited them. Every morning you came back. The use of ochre tells us even more. Red ochre, a vivid red pigment, has been found in burials for over 100,000 years. Red was the color of blood, of life, of the vital force that animated a living being. To mark the dead with red was to wish them the return of what they had lost. Covering a body in ochre may have been a prayer, a wish for life to return. 100,000 years ago, someone knelt beside a body and painted it red with hope, or a belief that death was not an ending but a transformation. Cave paintings show figures that are part human and part animal, shamanic figures, found in France, Spain, South Africa, Australia, in every ancient culture. These may depict journeys into the spirit world, the shaman moving between worlds. The idea that some people could cross the boundary between life and death and return with knowledge, with healing, with messages from the other side. The shaman was the first bridge between the visible and invisible worlds.
But why does any of this matter? Because belief in the afterlife did something remarkable for ancient humans. It made death bearable. In a world where death came early and without warning, this mattered enormously. If your loved ones still existed somewhere, grief had a shape. It had direction. You were not losing them, you were separated from them. Temporarily. That is a completely different relationship with grief, a softer one, a survivable one. That made it possible to keep going, to grieve and then continue living. Belief did not deny death. It gave death a place in a larger story. Afterlife belief also bound communities together. Funeral rituals brought the group together in shared loss and shared hope. Shared ritual around death creates solidarity, a sense of common fate and common hope. We are all going to die, and we are all in that together. That shared knowledge is one of the deepest bonds humans have ever had. It gave humans the courage to face impossible odds, to charge into a hunt, to face a rival group, to walk into the unknown.
Here's the twist. We tend to think of afterlife belief as a comfort, a coping mechanism, something humans invented to make death less frightening. And it is that. But it is also something far more powerful than that. Because belief in the afterlife shaped behavior, changed decisions, built societies. Afterlife belief may be the thing that made human culture possible. Art, music, religion, storytelling, all trace back to the question of what death means. It created ritual. Ritual created community. Community created civilization. Everything humans have ever built traces back to that first grave. The moment ancient humans started caring for their dead, they started caring for each other. Compassion for the dead is the beginning of compassion for the living. Death made us human, because it made us ask the biggest question any mind can ask. No other animal asks why. We do. And death is the question that started it all. And then it made us answer it, together. Burial is the oldest form of community, the first thing humans ever did together as a group. That is not primitive, that is profound. Ancient humans stared into the face of death and refused to look away. They asked the biggest question, and they answered it with community, with ritual, with art, and with hope. Subscribe. Every day we dig up one piece of the ancient human story.